I said, woo, because of my guest today. He was one of the very first guests that I had on this platform almost 2 years ago. I met him in Arizona at CPAC, and we just became very close right away. And this is a dude that, you just know you're going to be connected the rest of your life. For you guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Flexies and fellow PPNers around the world. Man, I got my voice back. Man, it feels so good. I just want to shout to the mountaintops, and I want to tell everybody how much God and Jesus Christ loves them. Because if you can take a wretch like me and not only heal me from my cancer, but take me from doing Satan's and the enemy's work in my past life when I was a Chippendale dancer, Playgirl Centerfold, and also collecting money, loan sharking, and breaking some bones. But if he can do that and take me from that to here, what can he do for you? So, look, if today you're moved, touched, and or inspired by this show, please share this out. You have no idea who's waiting to hear what we've got to talk about today. What we're going to do is we're going to bring him up here in a minute. But a couple things I do want to touch upon. April 13th. April 13th, go right now. PPM, get your tickets. $50. No excuse whatsoever. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be telling my testimony. I'm going to have my shirts. I'm going to have the mushrooms right here. I will have them because I know you guys are going to want them right then and there. So I will be selling them there as well. I'll be taking pictures, signing autographs, and I feel so good being around you guys. And then we're going to kick off, looks like Arizona. We're going to do the Walk and Talk Miracle Tour. And details are coming fast and furious. So I know everybody is literally waiting to get the tickets. I had somebody say, Chris, you know what? I've been to 3 of your shows. I've been to Clay Clark's. I've been to Louis Herm's. I've been to all the others. Nothing compares to yours. Almost Sinead O'Connor, right? Nothing compares to you. So, I got caught up in a moment. Oh, so what I was saying is that, yeah, it's going to be a different kind of show. I'm excited. But yeah, as soon as the details come, I promise you, there's going to be a lot of surprises. I'm trying to work, giving a gift that, God forbid, something ever happens to me and I'm no longer on this planet. It will seal my legacy. I'm not like all the other people. I don't just yap my mouth. I back it up. So I'm going to show you on this Walking and Talking Miracle Tour. So with that said, and there's other things that I want to be speaking at, and we'll talk about that. There's also, by the way, at the bottom, we are going on YouTube, guys. We're back on YouTube. Woo! Right? So, guys, right here, this is like the 6th time I'm on. They've burnt me 5 times. Okay? So I need you right here. It's the Cancel Cancer Journey. Please sign up. I put a couple of videos up. I'm going to put all the videos up that I've done. And then I'm also putting the other videos, guys, that you haven't seen that I've been guests on other shows. So please share this. Help me show YouTube who's boss. And let's just make these videos go viral. So only you can do that. So I'm back on YouTube and we're going to be doing that. So with further ado, let's bring him in. Matty, woo! What's up, brother? So, man, this is so funny. So, that is his real last name. I mean, the first thing I said to him is your real last name Matty Woo? And he took out his driver's license, showed me. And what is funny, I told him, is people used to say that to me all the time. It was Ric Flair, right? And they go, woo, right? The nature boy. And here I have a good friend, Matty Wu, and his last name is literally Wu. What's up, Matty?
Woo!
So, Matty, we met in Arizona at CPAC, and we're having a lot of fun today. We met at CPAC. Him and I hit it off right away. And so, Matty, let's tell people just a little bit. Don't tell them your whole thing. We'll get into that. But tell them a little bit about you for people who don't know who you are.
So a little bit is I have a book out that tells the whole story about me. Fubar Crossroad.
Where did you get the name of that book?
Fubar Crossroad. F-U-B-A-R Crossroad.
Where did you get remember we talked about the title of your book. How did you come up with it?
And here's the new biggest thing that I'm working on right now.
Can you hear me? I don't think you can hear me. Slow and Grow. Matty, can you hear me? I don't think you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Not very well.
What's wrong with your volume? Turn your volume, make sure it's all the way up.
Yeah. Okay.
You have your volume all the way up?
Yep.
Okay. So, Matty, let's just get right into your testimonial. Tell people what happened and your story.
Okay. So, I was in a car accident. There's what's left of my car. A couple different angles. And a drunk driver hit me head on a highway, each going 60 miles an hour. And when the paramedics got there, they thought that I was done on this planet because I was a lifeless, bloody mess with no response. Luckily, they found a faint pulse in me, so they rushed me to the hospital in a coma. When I came out of the coma, well, hold on a second. So there I am in the coma. Then when I came out of the coma, I was paralyzed on my right side, had amnesia, and no short-term memory. So they basically said your life is pretty much over, Sit on, when you go home, sit on the couch, don't put your body under any stress. You can never exercise again. Just watch TV, let your family take care of the rest of your life. Here they're teaching me how to walk again. And then
How long after that?
I don't listen to directions well. So I kept trying to go back to the gym, but I couldn't because I was in extreme pain and I would not take the pain medication the doctors gave me. I was in extreme pain, had limited mobility because after my paralysis went away, my joint and tendons and ligaments were torn on my right side and I could barely function. But I kept trying, and I knew there had to be a way. And God stepped into my life and showed me a way to work out. And I started to try it, and all of a sudden the pain started to lessen a little bit here and a little bit there. Then my strength started to increase a little bit. And I was like, this is working. This is awesome. So I kept doing it, and the pain started to go down more and more, and the strength started to go up more and more. And pretty soon it blew my mind because before my accident, I worked out and did well in the gym, and I was above average. I was the top 10% of people who work out in the gym. After a near-death experience and being told I could never work out again, I made it to the top 0.1%. And here's 3 years later, I'm in the world's strongest man, flipping a 700-pound tire, pulling a semi, after I was told I could never work out again, walking with 200 pounds in each hand.
And you weigh how much, Matty? How much do you weigh?
Say it again.
How much do you weigh?
So when I was in the contest, I was just over 200 pounds. So I'm still not a huge guy by any means. I'm
right.
Little Matty B. Woo!
You are. Well, you definitely are. So, Matty, I mean, the things that blow my mind. And how tall are you? 5'9"? How tall are you?
5'6".
5'6". Okay, I knew you were short. So 5'6". So 5'6", 200 pounds. You're lugging your weight. So you're lugging another human being after you were told that you would never walk or talk ever again.
The doctors always give the worst case scenario, which is the stupidest thing that they could ever do, because that kills people's hope and drive, and people usually just accept the worst case scenario and live that as a lifestyle. When I was in the hospital and they told me that I could never work out again, that I could never exercise again, that I couldn't function again, it went in one ear and out the other. And I thought, these guys are retarded. They don't have any idea what they're talking about. And I had amnesia. So when I came out of my coma, I didn't know what a doctor was. And long story, but I thought I was in prison. So I thought that the doctors were my wardens. And when they're telling me this stuff that I'm thinking is total BS, I'm saying, okay, these guys are idiots. They don't know what they're talking about. So don't listen to them. Don't do anything they say, because they don't know what they're talking about. And that's why I said I did not take the pain medication, because I was in extreme pain and wanted something to help. But since it was my doctor / warden that told me to take the pain medication, I'm like, okay, don't do that, because there's something evil there. I don't know what it is yet, but if he's telling me to take it, there's something bad about it. So don't take it. So that's why I didn't take the pain medication. And thank God I didn't, because I could have been another legal drug addict, which is what doctors want you to be.
You're absolutely right. And when I had cancer, I called you and told you, and you asked me after I told you I beat it. You said, "Did you do their protocol? Did you take their medicine?" And I told you, no, right? And that was something that you were really big on, is that you said, good, because, here's you, right? Didn't listen to the doctors. And they said, look, you'll never walk. You'll never talk again. You'll never work out in the gym. They told me, Matty, well, you could do chemo and radiation, 50% of your voice being gone forever. Oh, and by the way, 50% chance of your sense of taste being gone forever. Well, I don't know about you, but that's God's given gift to me. And I am not gambling God's given gift that he gave me. And that's why I told them no with the chemo and the radiation, and then I did the mushrooms. 5 in the morning, 5 at night. So what was your why, Matty? Like, we talk about whys, and, for me, boxing, I would talk about my why had to be bigger than what it was the reason I was going in the ring to get my head knocked in, right? So I remember walking up those 3 stairs and thinking, why am I going in there to box where I might come out in a casket, right? What was your why? What drove you to rehabilitate yourself?
So when the doctors told me that I could never work out again, they also said my memory was gone forever. My past memory of my entire life was gone. Plus, I had no short-term memory. So if you ever saw the movie 50 First Dates, I was the male version of that movie, because I'd go to sleep and all my memories from that day would be wiped away.
Wow.
And the doctors told me that was permanent, and my memory was never coming back. And I kept telling them, you don't know what you're talking about, because my memory is going to come back. It just hasn't come back yet, but it's going to. And in my mind, I was thinking, I don't know why these guys are telling me I can't work out, because I love to work out and I'm going to work out when I can figure out a way, because I couldn't at the time. And it was, I don't know if you want to call it a state of defiance or just a state of inspiration, motivation, because I'm like, these guys cannot tell me what I can do with my life. There's one person that can tell you what you can do with your life, and that's yourself. Anybody else who tries to tell you what you can and can't do, they're full of shit. So I knew what I wanted to do, and what they were telling me I couldn't do was totally opposite. I'm like, okay,
Right.
they don't know what they're talking about. Don't listen to those guys because they're idiots, and because
Right.
I know what I'm going to do. And when I finally found a way from heaven above to work out and started to work out, I was watching more TV than I ever watched because I had limited mobility and I couldn't do much of anything. So I sit on the couch and watch TV. One of the shows I saw was called The World's Strongest Man. And I was like, oh my God, those guys are amazing. They're awesome. Those are my heroes, you know? I kept watching the show and I finally got back. I mean, this is before I could get in the gym at all. I was, disabled pretty much. I'm watching the show, getting inspiration from those guys. And then I start to work out. My strength starts to come back, like I said, and my pain started to decrease. I'm like, oh, those guys are my heroes. Oh, those guys are so amazing. Kept working out, getting stronger and stronger, and thought, man, I wish I could be like those guys. Kept working out, getting stronger, and then started to train with a guy carrying 300-pound stones around, flipping a 300-pound tire, which is nothing. That's like a bicycle tire now. And we bought a harness to pull trucks across parking lots with.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God, like, I want to compete with those guys. I think I can do what they do, you know? So I kept training, and that inspired me like you can't imagine, to have a dream to be competing with my heroes, you know? So 3 short years later, I was on stage with my heroes competing against them. Did I win? Nope. But I got to compete against my idols that motivated me and stuff. And that was one of my biggest motivations in my life, was just seeing those guys and then getting to compete against my heroes that helped motivate me and get me off the couch and get me back in the gym. That was incredible.
We talk about motivation, right, Matt? So I talk about having your pain. I thought about you last night. I was in my sauna and drenched, right, with the dry heat. And I thought about my Walking and Talking Miracle Tour. And I thought about me. I thought about you. I thought about a couple other people. And what came to mind, Matty, was using our pain to fuel us. So taking the pain that we had, right, and using that as fuel, right? Like my fuel now, I'm in the gym and I'm standing next to dudes and they're blown. When I tell them that I just beat cancer, they look at me like, what? Like what? Because they can't even believe it. And they watch me work out like a beast. So they're like, what? And everybody saw Toby Keith, right? Did you see Toby Keith? I mean, he looked like death warmed over, right? So, I tell people, I lost 42 pounds. Look at that picture behind me. 42 pounds, 30 pounds of muscle, easily. And that's something that, Matty, how hard it is to put muscle on. 1 pound of muscle takes forever, right? But my motivation, and I'm entering this contest that 2 years ago I was in the top 5, that my motivation is to be, if I'm not in the top 5, then I'm going to win. Because I want to show the world that you can come back from cancer. You can come back from any fight for life like you, Matty, and still have that hope and desire and that will to fight. What would you say, like how I say, use your pain for fuel? What would you say for people out there to give them hope? What is something that you used back then that you can say, this was my mentality. This is what I thought about going through this that helped me.
My volume is cutting out again. So could you say that one more time?
Yeah. So what was your mentality? What is something that you can use that would inspire or help people to have hope when they're going through something right now? I know people that are fighting cancer. autism. I know people with Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, Lyme disease. What is something you use, like how I talked about last night, how use pain for your fuel to motivate you, right? What did you use? What can you give somebody some advice on?
This is horrible. My computer is cutting out. I'm only catching like every third word you're saying. It's
Hold on, let me see. Let me see something. Let me see if I can fix it. Hold on. We gotta do something about that, Matty. So let's try. Let me try something. Try this. Is that better? Can you hear me better?
barely.
No. Okay. Um, I don't know what to do. Let me see if I can text it. What is some motivational mentality you used when you were going through that to push you through? All right, I just texted to you, Maddie.
The motivational mentality, like I was saying, is there's only one person that can tell you what you can and can't do, and that's yourself. So do not listen to anybody if they tell you something that you don't agree with or don't believe in. Believe in yourself, set your goals as high as you want, because you. So here's one thing too. As I say, that accident was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life, because I had went through life and was taught by teachers who dumb you down. A child that's 4 years old has the biggest dreams in the world. He's going to be an astronaut. He's going to be Superman. He's going to fly planes. He's going to do whatever he wants to. They get in school, and school dumbs them down and says, no, you're going to work at a minimum wage job making the elite wealthy. You're going to do your duty just serving the elite. You're going to work at a gas station making minimum wage, and that's good enough for you, and accept that. Some kids go to college, but they get dumbed down even more in college. And
Right.
they get decent jobs, but they're in debt the rest of their life and stuff. So the reason I said the accident was the best thing that ever happened to me is because I had amnesia. So I came out and I was an infant again. At 25 years old, I was a newborn infant and was learning everything from scratch. And I had humongous dreams again. And I did not go to formal education school where they could squash my dreams. So today, at 52 years young, I still have amazing dreams. And the only difference is I'm accomplishing them, So for an average, ordinary person to turn on the TV and see the strongest men in the world compete in strength competition and think, I want to do that, the main person be like, there's no way I could do that. I'm just an average person. They're superheroes, and I could never compete against those guys. It's neat to watch on TV, but I'm just an average person. I could never do that. Me, with a 4-year-old mentality, was like, I want to do that. Well, I can do that then. I'm going to try to do that. So I started training, and all of a sudden, I made it on the show, in the contest. I didn't win, but I mean, just being to compete against those guys, that was the most incredible thing in the world. So it's just a matter of only listening to yourself for self-motivation and understanding that if you fully believe in something, you can achieve it. If you believe it, you can achieve it. And I'm talking about 100% belief, like there's no doubt in your mind, not just, oh, I think I can do that, maybe. It's like, I can do that. Nothing can stop me. I'm going to do it, and nothing can stop me from doing it. That's the way that you'll get accomplished whatever you want and reach the goals you want to reach in life.
Yep, I know that feeling, Matty. When I lived in Philly as a Chippendale, I tried out for American Gladiators. Remember American Gladiators? So here I am. I'm trying out for American Gladiators. I made it through the first heat, which was push-ups, where you had to have your palms, you had to go all the way down and touch their hand and pop all the way back up. Then from there, you had to do the cable, the handle, which you're exhausted because now you're using your shoulders, right, and your and your back. And then from there, you had to do a joust. I made it through the joust, and then I lost in the relay. But I know that feeling just to be there. And I got to the very end, I was done, man. I was exhausted. But just to be there, to make it that far, that's a big deal, man. That is a big deal, especially what you went through. Um, Look at your phone. Look at your phone. Look at what I text you. Testimonial to Jesus.
So, like I said before, okay, everybody has a gift from God sometime in their life, and they need to share it with the masses. The only problem is most people don't know what their gift is. They don't acknowledge their gift.
They don't hone it. They don't practice it. Yep.
So I do not believe that I had a gift from God in my previous life because I was a piece of shit. And then after my accident, I got a gift from God, which was it's the most amazing exercise routine you can imagine. It helps you. There's so many workouts out there, and so many people injure themselves in the gym every day because they're doing the wrong form, the wrong technique. Even if they do the right form and technique, their workout is just horrible, and they get negative results from it. If you work out your chest on Monday, your triceps are a secondary muscle that get worked out too. So then Tuesday, they're going to work arms. Well, your triceps were just worked out the day before, and they didn't have time to rest and recover. So they're actually going to get weaker because you're going to tear them down again without them repairing themselves. So when I was taught this, and there's other workout styles where it's all about moving fast and jerking around, and I can't even think of the name of the workouts, but a lot of people, oh, that was a great workout, but I can't do it anymore because I threw my shoulder out, I threw my back out, I blew out my knee, I blew out my elbow or whatever. It's like, yeah, because your workout sucked, So this workout strengthens your tendons and joints like you can't imagine, builds muscle faster than you can imagine, and people hit a lot of plateaus. The reason you hit a plateau is because your body becomes adapted to your workout, and it becomes adapted to your workout, so it knows what's coming, and it uses it more as like a placebo effect instead of a real workout. So my workout has different levels when you can advance, but it also has different workouts you throw in every once in a while to shock your muscles. And people can do there's the basic part of my workout, Slow and Grow, which starts off and teaches you the basics on how to do the workout. Then if you get to the level where that's just too easy, then there's places you can rise up to advancements. But the basic workout will have you gain in strength like you can't imagine, and strengthen your joints and tendons and stuff for years with no plateaus. It's amazing, to say the least.
Okay, Matty. So, Matty, we're going to have you on again when we can get your speaker so you can hear. But how can people find you and your book?
Can you type that into text again?
Yep.
I totally understand.
Well, we're going to bring you on again. when we fix this speaker issue. But how can people find your book and
So
you?
go to Amazon and look up Fubar Crossroad on Amazon, and they can get the book there. And you can go to Matty, Matty, B as in boy, woo, WOOOO on Facebook to find my profile. And keep watching for it, because
Slow and Grow.
Slow and Grow will be out soon. And I'm
Slow and Grow.
gonna send Baby Trump a message when it's out so he can tell his people, because I'm shooting the videos now, so it won't be on YouTube for a little bit, but as soon as it's ready, I'll let everybody know so I can go check it out.
Amen. Thank you so much, Matty. I'll have you on again. We'll fix your speaker. Love you, brother. I'll talk to you later.
Woo!
See you, brother. Matty Woo. Okay, guys. So heard about that. I wanted to talk to him more. It wasn't working out. So we're gonna go into day 4 of his respect language. For people that are tuning in, what we've done is we are doing a whole series on love and respect. So I had you guys do something over the weekend. And now most marriage books and counselors and everybody's going to tell you that communication is key. And that is so true. But that communication only helps if you understand each other, if you guys are on the same wavelength, if you get one another. That's true for words. It's true for love. It's true for respect. Your respect language is not quite the same as your spouse's. So we're going to open up your Bible and we'll talk about his and her respect languages. Now, we're not all the same. So in this shared message, you're going to talk about how it applies to you guys, obviously, personally. But let's start with the men. Ephesians 5:33, we've been talking about this, is our verse again, reminding us that the husband and man must love his wife or woman as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. Now, today's study and the message that we're talking about is going to be one-sided. We're focusing on his respect language first. Don't worry. On Wednesday, we will do her. But sometimes it helps to focus on one at a time and really deep and really dive deep because they're different. So just know we will restore balance to the force on Wednesday. So what speaks respect to your husband or your man? Well, since this is the part of the respect you're called to show God, what does respect for God look like? Read the Bible. And you pick up pretty quickly that God is big on trust. Proverbs 3:5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, mind, and soul. And 100 other verses and Psalms and stories all through the Bible say the same. If God has a respect language, I would say that trust is it. Trust his plans. Trust in his love for you. Now, I realize that your husband or your man is not God, and he's really not worthy of the same trust. He's human. He tries, he fails, he screws up, he sins. Sometimes he barely tries. But remember, show your trust in God through your husband or your man. Believe in your husband or your man, not in his infallibility. That's not real. But believe in God's calling on your husband's life or your man's life, and believe in the gifts that God has given him to live out that calling. That kind of faith speaks the world to your man. How do I know? Because that's how I feel. Speaking from personal experience, when I feel overwhelmed and the world just wants to take me down, everything changes when my significant other reminds me that she believes in me. It's like nitro in the tank. You know, when I was in my MLM, top 5% of company doing great, and I made the transition out to, well, actually, I made transition from a construction company showing HGTV to the MLM, and then from the MLM to my podcast, which, by the way, the podcast, I had to start one by one by one. Nothing was given to me. My ex-wife said one thing: I believe in you. That's all. Man, that was like a jetpack was put on me with Nitro. Now, ladies, I'm not telling you to be a fool or a doormat. Absolutely not. You know me better. If your man lies and cheats, don't trust a liar. But you should still respect him out of respect for God. That's difficult, but it's powerful. Or even if he's a decent man, but not a believer. 1 Peter 3:1 tells us that you showing respect for him is a powerful testimony, more powerful than all your words. Why? Because now your unbelieving husband or man is the middleman in a transaction between you and God. And that started in the Garden of Eve. And I told you this a long time ago. God put man in the middle of the woman and him and Satan because he wants the man to protect the woman from Satan. Okay? Makes a lot of sense. So you have God, the man submits to God, the woman submits to the man. Okay? Now there's women out there like, oh, I'm just as, equal as my husband. Yeah, you're equal, but in the submission, no. If so, it's never going to work out. You have controlling women out there. They don't want to hear I have to submit. I mean, it's what Christ wants. It's not what you want. It's not about what you want. It's about what Christ wants and how he's going to bless your relationship. When your respect for God is channeled through him, there's substance to it, and he can't avoid it. And if he is a believer, a decent man, and trying his best, your faith in him can give him that confidence to be a better man. And that doesn't have to be blind faith. You hear me tell you that, when I was with my ex-wife, I wanted to be a better Christian. I wanted to be a better man because she deserved that, because she was a Christian. She was a believer. So I had to prove. Just because he's the head doesn't mean he makes all the decisions alone. We talked about this a while ago, where he makes the major decisions. Why? Because he has to. Because when it comes down and there's a crisis situation, he has to know how to make that decision for the family. And if he doesn't practice, when it comes time to make the right decision and a crisis situation for the family, and the family depends on him, he's not going to be there because you unmanned him. So you're going to make other decisions. You're going to make decisions where to eat, what movie to see, what show to watch, where to go for vacation, things that is not a crisis situation. Now, that doesn't mean that he doesn't bring you in on those things. He does, but he has the power of veto. And he needs to. I had a woman talk to me a couple of months ago, and she said, "Chris, my man, blah blah blah, la la la." I was like, you know why? Because he's not used to making decisions. So then when it comes time and he needs to make a decision, he messes it up because he's not used to it because you unman him. Let him practice. It takes practice to make decisions. Believe it or not. And that doesn't have to be blind faith. Just because we talked about only a foolish and arrogant leader believe he's in charge because he has all the answers. Husband, men, pay attention. A wise leader listens to advice. You just heard me say that. A wise husband, a man, listens to his wife, to his woman. So communicate. Make decisions together. My ex was either you make it or I make it. There was never a we decision. Why am I in a relationship? I'll just stay single. If you act single, soon enough you will be single. Wives, women, ask him to respect your input. And for your part, respect his judgment. And that sort of faith also changes the way your husband, your man sees you. Back in 1 Peter 3, women are told to make sure their beauty isn't all about outward appearance and fancy clothes. The makeup, the cute outfit can catch his eye, yes, and that's great, but that shouldn't be the source of your beauty because that beauty fades. 1 Peter 3:4. So, what does that mean? You should clothe yourselves instead with the beauty that comes from the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is so precious to God. This is how the holy women of old made themselves beautiful. They put their trust in God and accepted the authority of their husbands. Interesting. The Old Testament tells us that Abraham's wife Sarah was very beautiful, even into old age. But the New Testament explains that her real beauty wasn't about her looks. It was her trust in God and her respect for her husband's authority, not flattery or subservience. And if you missed part one, let me remind you that sort of misogyny is not biblical, man. Okay? And though flattery and subservience may attract a shallow man, a godly man will be attracted to a woman. Now, listen, come here, women, come here, wives. A godly man who submits to God will be attracted to a woman who shows him respect while standing firm in her own dignity. Proverbs 31 speaks of the noble wife. She's clothed with strength and dignity. And husbands, men, respect that strength. More on that tomorrow on Wednesday. But for you wives and women, if you want more insight on his language, listen in on the way men speak to friends and teammates. Men speak the language of respect naturally or disrespect, depending on what sort of man they are. Now, you're not one of the boys, so don't copy them. You're not part of the frat club, right? Don't call your husband bro or dude. I mean, calling a man bro or calling him a dude is probably so disrespectful. You don't even realize it. My ex used to call me dude all the time. But listen in. When a man struggles, a brother builds him up. You got this? Though he might correct wrong actions or attitudes, a true brother always shows respect for who you are. You're a better man than this. I believe in you. God's got you. They can call you out on failures and sins, but they will always respect identity, respect skills, respect calling. And though the words may be different, it will mean 1,000 times more coming from you than them. So Here are a few keys to communicating respect to your husband or your man. Now, you might want to write some of these down because you're going to talk about them in your discussion challenge. All right. 6 keys to respecting your husband, man. 1, let him take the lead. When you follow and trust his leadership, he feels strong. Think about that. He feels strong. 2, communicate trust. Tell him you believe in him, his calling, and his ability. 3, support his decisions, even when you disagree. You should voice your opinion, and he should listen. But when he decides, power vita, I talk about, support him. He already doubts himself. Let your voice be the one that believes in him. Women, when a woman believes in a man, there is no greater thing for a man. You could dress up in lingerie, you could be sexy, you could cook them dinner, you do whatever. That's all fine. That's great. But you believe in him, that guy will feel invulnerable. 4, appreciate him. Whether or not his decisions work out, if he's a decent man, he's working hard. Notice his work. Acknowledge his sacrifices. Don't always let him have to tell you what he sacrificed. That is, when a man has to do that, it makes him very unappreciated and he'll go back in his comfort zone or he will flee. He'll shut down. They don't always work out, but he's trying. Succeed or fail, remind him you still support him. That's huge. That you have his back. That, man, he could fail, but he has a soft place to come to. 5, praise his accomplishments. Whoa, man, you want to get to a man's heart? Praise his accomplishments, the little wins. Men, because men focus on the win column. We're competitive. They just do. Life is full of risks and some things don't work out. Encourage him through the losses and celebrate the wins. And 6, have his back and cheer in his corner. The world will beat him down daily, but you, because the world will beat him down, but you are his girl worth fighting for. Remind him of that by cheering him on. He may be out fighting for the greater good, but you are the greatest good he's ever going to get. That is his respect language. But to be honest, every man is different. And look, I'm going to warn you up front, some of your discussions is going to be tough because you might be poking at old scars. This is hard to get rid of and to get right for most of us. And you might be surprised how deep it hurts. But if you want to heal and grow, you have to talk it through. Start with prayer and then commit up front to speak and listen with humility and grace. Remember, no shaming. And then, if she's going to talk through your respect language, promise you'll talk through hers on Wednesday. Both are important. Guys, I have been blessed and humbled to talk to you and bring you day 4 of love and respect. I want to see if I can read this chapter. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, men, that if any obey not the word, they also may, without the word, be won by the conversation of the wives of the women, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear. Whose adorning let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing of gold or of putting on apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart and that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of great price. For after this manner in the old time the holy women also, who trusted in God, adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well, and are not afraid with any amazement. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife, as unto the weaker vessel, as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. Finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion for one of another. Love as brethren, be pitiful, be courteous, not rendering evil for evil, or railing for railing, but contrariwise blessing, knowing that ye are thereunto called, that ye shall inherit a blessing. For he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil, and his lips that they speak no guile. Let him eschew evil and do good. Let him seek peace and do good. Let him seek peace and ensue it. For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against them that do evil. And who is he that will harm you if ye be followers of which is good? And if ye suffer for righteousness' sake, happy are ye, and be not afraid of their terror. Neither be troubled, but sanctify the Lord God in your hearts, and be ready to always give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you, with meekness and fear, having a good conscience, that, whereas they speak evil of you as of evildoers, they may be ashamed that falsely accuse you good conversation in Christ. For it is better, if the will of God be so, that ye suffer for well doing than for evil doing. For Christ also hath once suffered for sins, not just for the unjust, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit, by which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison, which sometime was disobedient, when once the long suffering of God waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was a preparing, wherein few, that is, 8 souls, were saved by water. The like figure whereunto even baptism doth also now save us, not the putting away of the filth of the flesh, but the answer of a good conscience toward God, by the resurrection of Jesus Christ, who is gone into heaven and is on the right hand of God, angels and authorities and powers being made subject unto him. Guys, so blessed. Thank you so much for spending the last hour with me. I will see you on Wednesday. Like always, remember, you want to flex your mind, flex your muscles, but above all, flex the truth. Once you do that, you are then aligned with God. You can go out and do His work, His will, His way, using His words to share with other people. Have a blessed day.